See, Dagan, we wouldn't have let you on if KPV didn't say so.
Yeah, it's true.
Mate, this is a refreshing change of me following KPV. I don't know how to compete. I don't know where we go from. I don't know where we go from here. How are you boys doing? Everyone in the chat?
Yeah,
Blessed.
not bad.
Blessed,
not bad.
blessed.
Dago, it's a bit of a refreshing change. You know, after a negative result, you're usually steaming. You don't seem too frustrated this time.
No, mate. Do you know what? Listen, it was the most passive. No one cared about the game at all. I mean, even the West Ham fans.
Yeah.
It was so quiet in there. This is like a huge derby, but I think both teams, obviously Spurs were keeping players out to try and keep them fresh for Thursday. West Ham were just trying to get ahead of us, but even the fans weren't motivating West Ham, were they? It was just silence in the stands, which is very, very rare between the two teams at any time of the season. It was just like a wooden spoon race, wasn't it? It was just like there was no desire to win either game, and normally it'd be the fans that would urge them on, and even they were just like, can we just get the season over with? It was 90 minutes to nothing.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, it's hard to really even talk about the game, isn't it? Because pretty much, apart from the 2 goals and maybe Vicario's save at the end, what happened?
Well, there's 2 things I want to talk about. And I'm happy you mentioned Vicario. His distribution is getting worse and worse. Listen, the shot stop, the save from Ward-Prowse's free kick is what he's brilliant at. It's what he is absolutely fantastic. But there was that one pass where he got a bad pass back, but then rather than just hoofing it out, he tried to play it out, and then can't remember which West Ham player it was, took a shot with him out of goal.
Souček.
But it just rolled to him. Thank you, Ash, brother. And then the other one where he just kicked it out of play. His distribution is a huge concern for me. His shot stopping is not. His shot stopping is never in doubt. In Europe, this guy just hoofs it out of play. In the Premier League, it's different. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, which was a real positive, you touched on it a bit, Ben. I think Danso's an absolute beast. I think this guy is I think this guy can be a very, very, very good player for Tottenham Hotspur. There's a couple of wayward passes, yes, that needs to be improved on, but he is so dominant in the air. He is so good in the penalty area. I just think, obviously, he was playing with Davies and great. He's played with one player coming to the end of his career, another one played out of position, and Spence, who was on the other side. I think Danso, whether Romero stays or goes, I think he's miles ahead of Radu.
So David,
I think there is a real player in him.
Would you be happy if we weren't to sign another centre-back this summer if Romero were to go?
Put it this way. It depends which manager came in. If it was let's just say it was a manager that did go to a back 3. I would want another top quality defender in there.
Let's say Ange's here next season. Are you happy that it's Danso Van de Ven?
If Ange's here next year, I've got a bigger concern than Danso. That's what where Danso plays will be the least of my concerns. There'll be one that's a lot bigger. But I think him and Van de Ven, obviously the right side and the left, whereas everyone say Van de Ven isn't so dominant in the air, which is strange for a man of his height. Danso will be the yin to the yang there. I just think he is a very, very good centre-back, and I think it gives Spurs the option. Romero could stay. I think we all think it's highly unlikely. Yeah. But if we have a back 3, that back 3 has to be Van de Ven, Romero, Danso, not Dragou when he comes back from injury or what. If it was a back 3 and Romero stayed and that was the back 3, I'd be goddamn delighted.
Yeah, I would say as well. You probably see a different side to Drag Sheen if it isn't a back 3, don't you?
That's a good point as well. That's a very good point. But yeah, no, I think, like you said, there's nothing much else to really talk about. Tell did his bits, but then faded in the second half completely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Tell, man. Would you take him, or would you keep him?
So when Ben and I went to Wolves, Ben will tell you, I couldn't stop talking about Tell's movement. At Wolves, his movement was absolutely incredible. It was the first time I'd seen the team live all season, the only time I've seen the team. But for some unknown reason, in that Wolves game, we kept going inside or going wide right to Brenham. So these runs weren't being found. Now, there's times when you look at it and go, why is he not being picked out on these runs? He could do something, but you never know. And then there are times when he does get picked out, and then that final product's not there. You look at it, we've got so many wingers. And one problem I have with it is hardly any of them cross the football.
Yeah.
That's a big problem if you're a winger, isn't it? I don't, with Tell, I wouldn't pay the what is it, 50 or 60 million at the moment, the option to buy or whatever it is. I wouldn't pay that amount of money for him. I also think that if we do get him, this is solely, mainly because Spurs will see a player there, but this deal will come about because it will take some money off the Harry Kane deal. So Spurs aren't spending money, so to speak. They're just writing money off. But the thing I've got with Tell Ashman, I think he's one of those players that I think in a couple of years' time we could live to regret it if we don't.
So basically,
but I'm sick and tired. Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm going to contradict myself now because I'm sick and tired of doing this. I want players to come in right now to make an impact now. So if you gave me a Tell or another winger that probably have a lot more experience, not a lot more, but you know what I mean, more regular football and has been doing it at a higher level longer, I would probably pick that option over Tell.
What about Emmanuel Solomon?
Mate, do you know what? He's been blowing it up in the Championship, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He really has been blowing up in the Championship. He's hardly had any. I don't think he's had any injuries, or if he has, they've been slight knocks, haven't they? They haven't been to the extent of what he had last season.
I think he got a bit injured at the beginning of the season, but he's had a bit pretty clear.
Yeah, so it's just been like a slight knock, not surgery and rehab and all that. There is a player there. And as I said, when we went to Burnley, Ben, and when the Sheffield United game that Kulu scored the winner in, he was the brightest player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it's good enough right now? Is that where we're at right now, where we say that's the best option? Joe, I fully see him going to Leeds. I can't see him staying. Would I like to see if he got a chance, maybe pre-season? Yeah. Yeah, maybe I would. But I don't see Spurs doing that in my opinion.
You put it into context, right? Emmanuel Solomon this season has got 10 goals and 13 assists. Yeah.
Yep.
Brennan Johnson, his last season in the Championship, got 18 goals and 10 assists. And a lot of people are not happy with Brennan Johnson being at the required levels, even though he's got 17 goals for us this season.
It's to do with application, isn't it? It's to do with outside of the goals more than to do with the goals, in my opinion, with Brennan Johnson. People say that, his greatest attribute at the moment is his movement off the ball, because he's able to find positions where he gets on the end of things, he's able to score the goals. But then outside of that, what do you get from Johnson? Whereas I think with Solomon, at least he can, disrupt defenses, break into disrupt their defensive lines, go on the inside, go on the outside, ask different type of questions. But the question is Championship, is he too good for that level? And then is he going to be a player that's consistent enough at the Premier League level where he can, help to our attacking front three? That's where the jury's
I think
out.
I think what we've got to look at it as well is what are at the moment Ange's requirements, or should it be Ange or another manager next season? What do they define their wingers' main responsibility is? Is it to get to the byline, get quality balls in? Because you saw today, West Ham were whipping balls in early all the time.
Yeah.
We just run to the wing, bring it back, go to the right back or left back, play it around. We've got Son playing at left wing when he's more like a left inside forward. We've got Johnson on the right wing when he's more like a right inside forward. And we're asking them to do the jobs of wingers whilst contributing goals. So I think whoever comes in, what is their vision or their interpretation of what they want their wingers to do? If they want their wingers to get to the byline, or not even to the byline, but whipping balls in, I'd say Solomon isn't good enough. If it's to cut inside and get goals and use his pace and cause trouble, then maybe out of the group we've got, I think any way we look at it, I think we need to get better wingers, or at least one that has the ability to cross a football, and go from there. But there are so many wingers, aren't there? We have so many.
Yeah,
It's insane.
It's just been kind of misprofiling players, I think, from this club, for the system that we've got. I mean, looking ahead for the rest of the Premier League games, how many points can you see in our final 3 games?
Well, we've got Crystal Palace next.
Yeah.
FA Cup. Then it's Villa away, Brighton. Yeah.
Yeah.
4.
4. Where are those 4? You think we're going to win a game?
Do you know what? It so much goes down on Thursday.
Yeah.
If Thursday goes well, obviously it's to be jubilant, and then you got to remember Palace are going to be very, very cautious for the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Their whole thing. So if I was to see a win, I probably would say Palace, but that's only because Palace, I see having one mind on the FA Cup. That's the only place. If it goes tits up for us on Thursday, then I don't see us getting another win. I think the world's going to.
If it does go well for us on Thursday, surely we're going to have one eye elsewhere as well.
Yeah, but we've got a few games to go, haven't we? We will have the. I think then maybe he rotates against Palace, but the place will be bouncing, and players will then want to be staking a claim for their final place, won't they? I mean, I'm a bit. The one thing I'm disappointed with today, just quickly on this game, is you thought there'd be some players that will go, right, this is the game. If I put in a shift, if I put in a good performance, maybe I can force my way to Ange's team. Maybe I can give him a food for thought to say, do you know what, he's shown a bit here. But they just didn't, did they? And like you said, and the way I looked at it with the lineup when it came out, he rested the players that are shooing for the final, gave people like Kulu, and Kulu was not good today.
Yeah.
He was not good today. But he gave players like Kulu, who did need minutes, to get into their system. I think it was you, Ben, or Simeon, the other week when you're doing the other day doing the predicted lineup, said maybe it is good to give him these minutes to get to, like, really. Is it giving him more minutes to get back to where he was and build up his fitness, or is he just off of form and can play himself into form? And I don't know which one it is. I don't know if he's still trying to get to that level of fitness, or he's just completely out of form.
Ashmatic says it's both.
You reckon, Ash?
Yeah.
It's a shame, especially with a lot of people are now saying about this Maddison. I think we can safely assume that whether it's out for the season or not, Maddison won't be available Thursday.
No. Yeah. I think Ange's already confirmed it.
Yeah.
Oh, what? He's definitely out for Thursday.
Yeah. There's a quote out at the moment saying that he's going to miss Thursday. I think Alistair Gold reported on it. He said it doesn't look great. This is Andrew's words, by the way. Just waiting for further information. Probably get more clarity tomorrow, but it's fair to say it's not looking promising. Yeah.
So that's a huge miss, isn't it? It's a huge miss. It looks like Kulu will have to play in that midfield position, doesn't it? If we want any kind of creativity whatsoever. And we'll see how I do it. But like I said, the most important thing that I took from today is the performance of Danso. I honestly think a lot of people said, obviously with Wolves trying to go for him, that, oh my God, we're going for scratch with Wolves and whatever. And I remember breaking it on your channel, Bennis, when you and Sim were off.
Yeah.
Wolves are a good team.
Didn't know a lot about him. And people going, oh my God, he's a Wolves reject. But like we said when we went, a lot of it, Wolves scout some very good players.
I could do.
Wolves scout some very... And like you were saying, I was listening on the train home, Ash, we were linked with him in the summer.
Yeah.
And then we're linked with him early January. I think we've got a bargain in Danso. I really, really do. I think he'll only get bigger and stronger and more comfortable on the ball. But aerially and defensively, and when he's got a settled defence alongside him, I think he's going to be an absolute beast for us.
Let's finish off talking on Mikey Moore. Finally got some minutes today, last 20 minutes. knocking the ball past Paqueta, Souček, these kind of players. I thought he was the brightest spark for us in those last 25
Without
minutes. Why the hell is he not being seeing more game time? And are we doing his development any justice at the moment with him not playing in for the first team or the under-21s?
Yeah, I've agreed with you, Ben. And also, I hadn't looked at it the way Stel had said with Tell. He needs minutes, and during the season where things haven't been great, to just lift the crowd and just give us something different, he should have been given some more minutes. And again, we go back to, like we said, these wingers. You got Hugh at QPR, haven't you? Yeah. The list of these wingers, and we keep getting told that we have to clear the deadwood to bring in or unblock the pathways for the youth to come in, and was told when Mikey Moore signed his contract that we'd see some of him. I don't think we've seen enough, Ben. I know your love for him, and most Spurs fans, but you've always championed him. And when he came on, he just looked eager, hungry, wanted to try and do things. And we've missed that, haven't we? We've missed that drive or desire to try and take a man on or do something different to get up the pitch. And in his little cameo, when he did get the ball, you always thought, okay, something could happen with him, didn't you?
Absolutely. And I thought he straight away sparked up a really good relationship with Spence, and Spence came more alive as well when Moore came on.
Well, hopefully this is kind of what Ange did at the end of last season, didn't he? He started ushering him in with like the last 3-4 games to go. Hopefully, the last few games he will get some more minutes, but wish we'd seen him more. And let's see what happens with him in the summer. Will it be I mean, Ben, I'll ask you, do you think he needs a loan next summer? Because he'll be 18, so he can go out on loan.
If he's not going to play, if he's not in the manager's plans and he's not going to play, then yes, I would give him a loan.
Where are you loaning him? Are you loaning Championship? Are you loaning him to a Prem team?
At the highest level that he can go. The highest level that will take him.
So if a Premier League team came in, but let's say it didn't play... Let's just play. They played ultra defensive football, like let's say a team struggling, a team that's going to be lower mid to relegation, or a high flying Championship team.
You're gonna play him wherever he gets the most development. That's basically the answer, I think.
I think I'd send him to the highest Championship. Yeah,
so wherever he gets the most game time, where he can learn, because it's good for a young player to learn different systems. In my opinion, he doesn't have to play in the exact system. But True. I think minutes are crucial in a player's development. Do you know what I mean? The more systems he plays in, the better, I think. So if he's playing in a low block team and he's got a possession side based team, where he's got to figure it out and try and break down a low block, or if he's got to quickly go in a transition, counter attacking team, he will learn a lot more about himself rather than being in a team where he's sitting on the bench competing against someone else. And I think at Spurs, there's no point him staying at us if he's not going to get the minutes to thrive and learn and develop his game. What do you think?
I think if he was to go to the Championship, he would absolutely rip that up.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Yeah. Like when Hook first came in to QPR, like the first couple of games, he wasn't quite at it, and then now he's starting to find his feet a bit. He's starting to learn a bit more, and so I will give him and Hook more time in the Championship to let them develop, and then get a player that's ready for now to come in.
The whole narrative with Moore, though, like last summer, was we're not going to loan him out. He's too special to loan him out. We want to develop him here, and we want to give him the minutes here. But it just hasn't materialised like that. It's
because of the way the season's panned out, bro. If we were having a positive season where we were up the league and we were performing well, you kind of want to get your young players in and let them thrive in positive environments. You don't want to throw them in negative.
You say that, Ash. You say that, but if we're doing that well, would they have said, "Oh, wait a minute, we don't want to put you in right now because we are doing so well"? I agree with you. You want to play them when when the team as a whole are in a much better situation than what we have been. Completely agree with that. It's just whether he would, and whether with the loan. I think again, it all depends who's at the helm come pre-season, isn't it?
I just look at Archie Gray. We threw Archie Gray in against Liverpool.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's my point. That's my overriding arching point.
Yeah, you got a point there. You got a point. But we'll have to see who the manager is. If it is the guy I want, like I said, and I've always said, Thomas Frank, then maybe he does need to go on a loan where a team would be more defensive as opposed to more.
You prefer Thomas Frank over Xavi?
Listen, Xavi was at Barcelona, had all the best players, then went to Saudi Arabia. I don't think a high-profile manager can come to this football club unless Vinay and Paratici really are 100% in control. I don't think any manager that comes in is going to do well, but I'd rather have one with Premier League experience that knows the league.
You don't think Xavi will come in and then young players or players of like a level that Thomas Frank couldn't attract will come to the club and think, oh, actually, I want to play for Xavi? Or you think it's a mythos?
Well, will we pay the wages?
No, but all right, so for my understanding is for like Xavi, you wouldn't necessarily need established players. You just need players that, like, you know,
we
like
do need established players. That's the thing, Ash.
No, we do. I just could see a world where Xavi could bring in like Bergvall types, for example. Do you know what I mean? And the level of Bergvall, like, you know, like for example, at Barcelona, nobody knew about Yamal, and he was bringing through Yamal's, Pedri's. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Lopez.
but Barcelona have a history of doing it, brother. Barcelona have a history of doing it, and their youth training is like Ajax. They know how to bleed them through. We get them, and then we keep them, and then they don't sign contracts, and they go elsewhere. Look, the club is a mess. I think that whatever manager comes in has got a hell of a work to do. But the only thing we can hope for is that this combination of Vinay and Paratici actually have final control in everything. And then if it comes out that it is that way, maybe I would sway to say, yeah, okay, get a Xavi or whatever.
Fair enough.
But I just can't see any manager of that caliber coming to us because of our ownership.
Big up, Brian. Thanks for coming on today, bro.
Always a pleasure, brothers. Have a great day, and everyone in the chat. Have a great bank holiday weekend, actually.